Let's talk about prospecting for you. Let's put in the title up there for you, prospecting. It sounds like some dude digging for gold in the old Klondike, isn't it? Prospecting is key. Now, I get a lot of emails from people who are studying their CMAT, and they've got a future ahead of them, and they're thinking, great, as soon as I'm qualified, I get my CAS status, my competent advisor status. I'll set up shop, and I'll just wait for people to come in there and get my advice. And that's nonsense, absolutely nonsense. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way at all. You're not going to suddenly get reams and reams of business. In any industry, it doesn't work that way. You have to work for it. You'll live or die, sometimes you'll starve or feed yourself, by acquiring new clients, by the way that you bring in new business to your company. You'll live or die by that, and we'll talk about that now. Now, Santander, big bank, of course. Santander, part of the old Abbey National Group years ago, Spanish-owned company, massive lender. They're having a few difficulties, like all participants in the market. They don't get enough footfall. There aren't enough people going into their branches. Not surprised, branches are a thing of the past. About time they all figure that out. Great big, 100 square foot branches in high streets, with lovely armchairs and all that kind of stuff. It's a thing of the past. They just don't need it. They're not getting enough footfall going into branches, in other words, to get mortgage targets achieved. Their website is great, but it's not attracting the numbers of people they want it to attract. I mean, you might go onto Santander's website if you're looking for a mortgage, possibly, probably not. You'll go onto other things, and that's the point. So what they've done, Santander, is they've gone along and they've bought a company. They've bought a mortgage tech firm that snaps up borrowers from aggregators. So let's look at it visually for example. There's Santander, the lender. They've got branches which are not working, so they've bought a mortgage tech firm that snaps up borrowers from aggregators. Now you might think, well, what on earth's an aggregator? Now, an aggregator is a firm based on the internet that owns a number of websites, forums, blogs, whatever it is, which attract people. Now, if I'm looking for a mortgage or wanting to buy a house, I'm going to start going online. I'll go onto Facebook and various social media, and I'll get a link to somewhere, and I'll find a blog with information about mortgage products, maybe a Best Buy list or something, or where to get the right surveyor. Everybody likes to research information now online. They get their tablet out while they're watching telly, they're watching The Voice, and between Tom Jones and Ollie, they're clicking on there, finding out about mortgage. That's the way people roll nowadays, and don't ever think that's the way. They don't walk into bank branches in the high street anymore. Now, as they're going around the internet, searching for information, researching this, that and the other, these sites will try and take your details and ask you, do you want more information? Do you want to speak to somebody? Do you want more data about this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And what they're trying to do is attract your permission for you to be contacted. And then what happens, these aggregators get all these email addresses and these clients, or customers, they're not clients, are they, who are interested to talk to somebody or to take it further or to get more information, whatever it is. And it's these customers that you can purchase. Now, Santander are doing it because they're basically getting all these new customers who go back to the aggregator goes to the tech firm, and they go back to Santander. Santander will help them. They'll probably have some 24-hour video link where they can talk to customers because they're in a position to do that. So if you're in some website in the middle of The Voice and you're finding out about land registry fees and the various costs involved, it says, do you want to speak to somebody now? Chat box or something. Oh, yes, please. So you'll go to Santander, who'll talk and chat. And that's great. They got the money to do that. Now, the point is, though, this is where you come in, because as a mortgage broker, mortgage advisor, whatever you want to call yourself, you need new business. You can't go advertising on the back of video boxes anymore because nobody buys videos. You can't put an advert in the paper because nobody reads papers anymore. So what you can do is buy these things. You can go online. There's companies that will sell you these customers. They'll sell you. It's all done on bid auction basis, according to demand and et cetera, et cetera. But you can pay them, say, £25 for a customer. So that customer goes immediately to you. And there you are. There's your picture there, your little smiley face. Because you're watching The Voice. You're watching old Tom Jones. You think he's wonderful. And Wile E. Coyote, I think that's his name, isn't it? He's got some other name. Anyway, I think it's a great program. And suddenly you get a text message saying that Mr. Brown from Dundee wants to talk to somebody about a mortgage. And you get a lead. You pay 25 quid, you get this lead. Now what you do with that lead is entirely up to you. Because this is where the clever part comes in. Because what you need to do, now you've paid for the lead, you need to make sure that lead turns into business. So you've got to contact that customer. So you now need to have a decent or half-decent sales process in place. Now, if you haven't got a sales process, give me a call and I'll take you through how it works. You've got to have a sales process. You've got to have a funnel of some description, because the funnels themselves help you to produce business. And if you've got somebody coming into you as a lead, you've got to be able to make a phone call or text them or WhatsApp them or social media them, whatever is your preferred way of communicating. Remember, it's not your preferred way, it's your customer's preferred way. And you want to take them to your stage of the sales process, which is probably some kind of meeting. So you want to contact them and sell the next stage in your sales process, which is probably a meeting of some description. So you need to measure that. So you want to have kind of like ratios. So for every 2 leads, you want to achieve 1 meeting. And for every 1 meeting, you want to achieve 1 mortgage. You've got to have ratios now to help you to measure these things, because these 25 quids will start adding up. And it won't just be 25, it might be 50 quid, £100. So you need to make a call, a WhatsApp message, whatever. You need to be good at this. You need to get fluent in the way that you handle the call or the message. You need to obviously be compliant, so make sure that your network tells you what to do, what not to do. You need to be enticing and interesting, but ultimately you want to take the customer to your next stage of your sales process. Don't get drawn into giving information over the phone and sending quotes and all that palaver. You don't want to do that. The way you work is that your next stage then is some kind of meeting. Now when you do your next meeting, be a bit more flexible with that one. You could use Zoom or some kind of software. I use Zoom, really good company, to do a video meeting with Bob from Dundee. It may well be that you're in Brighton, he's in Dundee. A video meeting might be the next step. And people like these things. So make sure, it could be a face-to-face, it depends on how you operate. Now you can buy leads, of course, that are in your area if the customer's told you where they're coming from. You can specify the type of lead you have. So take it to your next step. You've got to have a sales process. You've got to have a robust sales process that has elements in each part that you can measure and make it go through as well. Other things you could do here, you could do advertising online, you could do Facebook advertising. That's really clever stuff now, if you ever thought about that. Get onto Facebook, get your account sorted out and start looking at advertising on Facebook, because you can do all sorts of things there. You can determine the geography in which your customers come from or your advert goes out to, the age range of the person you want to promote your advert to, the demographics or whatever it is. They have lots of these criteria on Facebook where you can put an advert out and have it appear in somebody's feed on Facebook, because that's where people are talking about mortgages, aren't they? So it's a good place to go. Facebook advertising is not expensive. It's one that you might want to take a look at as well. Make sure you have a referral management system built in as well, because these leads that you eventually turn into business, you want to be turning those into referrals, getting their friends, relations, whatever, involved as well. That's the best way in which you can maintain business. Referral management systems start, by the way, at day 1 or at the meeting process. You've got to have a system in place for that. Now, Santander, very clever. They basically just bought all this, haven't they? So they'll just get streams of customers coming their way. And they'll probably end up closing all their branches because they don't need them. They can probably do this all online moving forward, which is the way to take it, isn't it? So that's prospecting, modern way of doing things. World changes. Hope that's been useful.